Welcome to Miller's Monsters. I'm Mr. Beelzebub. This here is Count Luna. Behind me is Edgar P. the Scully, and we're going to talk alien abductions today. And we're going to talk about Pier Zanfretta, and between 1978 and 1980, Pierre was abducted 5 times by aliens in that time period. So let's begin. His first abduction was December 6th of 1988 in Torriglia, Italy. Now, if you remember from a few long videos ago, I told you about the Romini alien encounter. So this is the same time frame. I think that was November of 78. This is December of 78. But as we get to a description of the alien, they're quite different. But Pierre was on duty, and he was making his rounds to his next home when suddenly the power went out, and he thought it was being burglarized. Anyways, robbed. So he pulls up, he gets out of his car, grabs his gun and his flashlight, and he's quietly creeping up to the house, planning on capturing the robbers in the act. And as he's quietly getting up to the house, he feels a tap on his shoulder, and he turns around thinking it was one of the robbers that snuck up onto him. Come closer, please. Thank you. And he turns around to see not a robber, but an alien. And he describes this alien as being enormous, green, ugly, and a frightful creature with undulating skin, as though he were very fat or dressed in loose gray tunic, and it was no less than 10 feet tall. Well, seeing this, he goes into shock right away, and drops his flashlight, and apparently he came back pretty quick, because he was able to escape and run to his car, where he called dispatch for help. And the call came in there around 12 o'clock and 12:15. And he was just frantic, and the dispatcher couldn't make out what he was saying, so he sent two other officers, to figure out what's going on. And what happened is they get there, and he's just frantic, still has his gun and flashlight, and he's shaking, and they come in and disarm him. The interesting thing is that his clothes were warm to the touch, and it was a cold day outside in Italy. And this is explained because as he was running to his car, he can see the ground lights up in front of him, and a triangular shape took off with a loud hiss, and a warm, searing heat came over his body. So that would explain the warm clothes. Also, on as they searched the area, thank you. Oh my God. Oh, if you guys only knew. Take a break. Okay, I'm back after that assault on my senses there. And let's see, as they were investigating, they found 2 markings where this triangle supposedly took off from. And eventually, word of this got around, and there were skeptics, and there were people that believed him, and there was people coming out saying, this wouldn't be the type of guy to make something up like this, because he has a good job, a good family, nothing crazy in his life. Why would he put all that at risk just for 15 minutes of fame? And to go one step further, Pierre even underwent a hypnosis on to go over the story with him. And during this hypnosis, he wasn't only running into the aliens, he was abducted by the aliens and subject to testing and all this that he remembered under hypnosis. So and then there was also the fact that 50 local residents also saw bright lights in the sky that day. So Zanfretta was made out to be a pretty credible witness in all this. Now, that was one, and before I get to number two, I hope you liked everything so far. Please take a moment to hit the like and subscribe button, ring that bell, set yourself up for notifications so you don't miss another episode, and please tell your friends to like and subscribe me and subscribe as well, or I'm going to send Luna the Fart Goblin to your house and you can deal with it. So then on the 23rd of December, he's driving his car and all of a sudden he loses the control of the car, and it has a life of its own, and he no longer has any influence on the power or control of the car. And suddenly the car came to a stop, and he banged his head on the steering wheel in front of him, and then he's enveloped in this brilliant light. And again, Zanfretta on the radio calls dispatch, and he's like, I stopped the car is stopped, I'm getting out, I saw a bright light, they say I must leave with them. And again, they send out assistance, and there was this intense downpour, and once they get there, even through all this rain, the roof of his car is still extremely hot. And then they also find several huge footprints on the ground around the vehicle, and which would seem like a very large person was there with them. And they found the watchman's gun with 5 rounds fired, and he couldn't recall who he shot at, nor could he recall ever leaving his vehicle. So this time a full public inquiry took place. No crime was committed, so Pierre was free to go about his business, and the case was closed. And again, the company was supportive of him. They quietly sent him to a doctor to evaluate Zanfretta's mental state, and he came back as, the guy's in shock, but he is perfectly sane. So there's the second one. So again, after this abduction, he's put under hypnotic regression, okay, because the guy believes in what he's been telling everyone. And under this hypnosis, again, he starts recalling details from one of the creatures had taken his gun and repeatedly fired it into some kind of panel, maybe to test what it actually was, or if it could harm them. He was stripped of his clothes, put a strange helmet on his head, and but it allowed him to understand his captors. And they seemed to have a conversation together, and they said, you need to come with us. And he's like, no, I don't want to, because I have 2 children and a wife, and he did not want to go with them, basically because he told them, you're not human beings, you are horrible. And apparently that was the end of that session, and he was found at his car at the time. So, third time is July 30th, 1979, and he's on motorcycle patrol, and again, he suddenly goes missing, and he was found 2 hours later near Mount Fassé, near to their patrol location. And there was only one road that led to it. It was a small single road, and it was surrounded by local villagers on either side, but none of the residents could recall Zanfretta ever riding up to where he was found. So it was thought, okay, maybe he was picked up, all right, and dropped off there by the aliens, as he claims. And well, again, he does a third hypnotic regression, and then on this time he was put under a truth serum. Okay, so under the truth serum, doing this hypnotic regression, he was on patrol when a strange green light lifted him from the ground, and the next thing he knew, he was inside a spaceship. And then after that, he was in the clearing where he was found. And what is it, sodium pentothal? The doctor said that anyone under this would not be able to make up a story. It's basically, it's the truth serum. So again, he's passed three hypnotic regressions. Not passed, it's still up to you whether you believe or not. And one with sodium pentothal. So on December 2nd, 1979, Zanfretta had his fourth encounter with these aliens, and again he just disappeared again, and again someone was sent out to find him, and this time it was 4 people in a patrol car, and as they were driving around looking for them, suddenly they saw a cloud-like object, and it appeared above them, and then 2 bright columns of light stretched down to the ground from the aircraft, and was all around. Everything was bathed in the glow of the white light. At the same time, their engine stalled and went dead. Couldn't start it. 4 men got out. Some men fired shots at the strange craft, and then suddenly the lights went out and the craft disappeared as quickly as it appeared on them. And eventually Zanfretta was found shortly after this experience, but unfortunately this experience shook up one of the patrolmen so bad that he ended his life shortly thereafter. So again, now it has to begun to affect other people as well, not just Zanfretta. The next day, though, Zanfretta's filling up his car, and he hears a voice in his head calling his name, and he looks around, and he sees a humanoid figure, very tall, and he's a bald egg-shaped head, but this time it wore a checkered suit with an obvious steel breastplate. So this is in the daylight, so maybe the alien was trying to fit in. This is only speculation. And he could hear the voice in his head, and it was telling him, get in your car, we're going to give you instructions. And Zanfretta obeyed and did what he was told, and drove his car into a white cloud. As soon as he did this, the car was lifted onto a craft that was nearby, and once inside, he was allowed to leave the vehicle, and several tall reptile-like humanoids explored his surroundings, and he said while in there he saw cylinders, clear blue liquid, had a frog in it. One had a frog, so maybe they are. No, sorry. In this case, they explained it was a humanoid frog, and it was one of their enemies from another planet. And at one point, one of the aliens gave Zanfretta a glass sphere, and had a little pyramid structure inside. So their spacecraft was kind of pyramid in the beginning. So this had a pyramid structure, and they said if they, humans use this sphere, they would be able to understand the aliens' world, and and understand and who they are. And they gave Zanfretta this as a gift, and he just wished, or no, he refused the gift, and he just wished to go back to his normal life. However, they insisted he took the spear. So apparently he did take the spear, and that he should give it to Dr. Alan Hynek. But once upon returning, Zanfretta never gave that spear to Hynek, and it is said that he's hid the sphere where nobody can find it, and didn't think humanity could handle it. So there you go. That's very, very compelling story, and I think compelling evidence that there is other life out there. I mean, hypnotic regression, truth serum. It's just too bad that that sphere was never shown to the doctor. If you liked what you saw, please hit the subscribe, ring the bell, set yourself up for notifications, and cowboy. So you don't miss another episode, and please tell your friends to like and subscribe as well. And I will talk to you later.